Dear friends, greetings. Today we explore a far-reaching and often perplexing question. Can the theory of evolution truly explain the origin and development of life? Evolution is often presented as unquestionable because it carries the label of science. But the perspective we examine today argues that evolution has never been scientifically proven and remains a hypothesis. We approach this topic with a scientific attitude, objective and rational. We will see that the development of artificial intelligence suggests that life's information and intelligence do not arise from nothing, but from higher wisdom and design. Let's first look at scientific principles and the concept of entropy. The second law of thermodynamics states that in an isolated system, disorder continually increases, and the system naturally moves from order to disorder. This perspective argues that without controlled external energy, order cannot arise from disorder. If early Earth was destructive, such conditions would increase disorder, not create life's information. Next, let's examine why macroevolution may be viewed as speculation. Macroevolution cannot be replicated, observed, or verified. Many of the arguments presented as evidence rely on speculation rather than direct proof. Yet when we look at the universe, we see clear order, precise laws, and consistent regularities. This perspective argues that such order cannot possibly arise from randomness. Let's quickly examine 6 common pieces of evidence often cited in support of evolution. Darwin acknowledged the fossil record was incomplete. This viewpoint notes that many species appear suddenly, with few transitional forms, suggesting evolution was not gradual. Structural similarity is often interpreted as common ancestry, but from a design perspective, reusing effective structures across systems is natural. DNA's universality is often seen as evidence of a common origin. However, this perspective argues that a single designer explains this shared, universal code more reasonably than random processes. Species distribution is often linked to evolution, but it can also reflect biological behavior, adaptability, and design principles similar to engineered adaptive systems. Early embryonic similarity is cited as evidence of common ancestry, but all life begins as a single cell. Similar early stages are expected. The real question is how genetic code produces such diverse final forms. Drug resistance or pesticide resistance are often called evolution, but this perspective sees them as simple adaptive responses within a species, not the creation of fundamentally new species. Darwin's ideas have been questioned as science advances. Specifically, genetic mutations, which are often harmful, do not produce higher complexity. In his paper, The 3 Errors of Darwinian Evolution, modern evolutionist Professor Xu argued that Darwin misinterpreted geological records, misused social analogies, and misunderstood competition. These are the harmful consequences of Darwinism, Professor Xu said. He also quoted Engels. Darwin's views have little scientific basis. They are a kind of propaganda. Now, let's look at AI as a modern analogy to understand the necessity of design. AI imitates the human brain through designed neural networks and curated information. This perspective argues that intelligence requires design, information requires a source, and complexity requires engineering. Evolution assumes that given enough time, anything can happen. But time alone changes nothing. Only external information and intelligence does. In conclusion, let's summarize what we have explored. When examined scientifically, evolution appears speculative rather than proven, lacking observation and replication. The origin of life, the information of life, and the intelligence of life all point in one direction. Life is not an accident. Life is designed. When examined scientifically, evolution appears speculative rather than proven, lacking observation and replication. Thanks for watching.